Hi everyone. Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday afternoon and happy St. Patrick's Day. I had to dig out and find a scarf that had a little bit of green in it so that I could have some green on for St. Patrick's Day. So anyway, going live again today just to share. I'm going to be sharing a card. I'm going to give people just a minute to pop in. And if you want to say hello and tell us where you're watching from, that would be great. And I'll get started in a little bit. I'm going to share this on my group page so that they can see it over there too. And I hope you're having a good day. It's not quite as cold as it's been here, but I still am layered up, as you can see. But anyway, I have a card that I want to share that I think is really sweet. It's a thinking of you card. Hi, Parson. And that I need some of those right now. We've been thinking about, how I can use the craft to reach out and, reaching out to you all by going live and just chatting each day and sharing what I'm working on. And hey, Carol, Mary Ellen, Diana, thank you for tuning in. So anyway, I'm going to do a thinking of you card, and been thinking about sending cards that people that are the elderly, maybe, that are shut in and protecting themselves. So anyway, I just think it's a good idea, and so I've got to get some cards made. So Wyoming, beautiful state. So I'm going to share this on my group page, and I'll be back with you in just a second. So I've got my drink today. I don't have coffee in here today, surprise. It was like, when I was rushing around and getting ready, it was like, oh, and I thought, I don't feel like any hot drink right now, even though it's cool in here. And so I've got some of my sparkling water in my Pocahontas cup that I got from Disney. So, okay, so I am using this beautiful moment set that is so pretty. It's one of these sketched drawings here that are just gorgeous and very conducive to watercoloring. Hey, Stacy. Okay, and so on the original card I made, I used the Collect Beautiful Moments, okay, and Sentiment. And today I'm going to be using Thinking of You. If I'm pausing, it's because I'm checking the laptop to see if I'm in focus. I realize you can see all of this going on. Sorry about that. But anyway, okay, let's get started. I'm using this. It can be big sister and little sister. It can be mother and daughter. It can be grandmother and granddaughter, whatever you want them to be. And, okay, so let's get started. I'm going to do the embossing of the sentiment first. And the color that I'm using is Blueberry Bushel. Beautiful. This is one of our retiring in colors. And, I don't need to tell you that once that's announced that it's retired, those are going to go pretty quickly, okay? So, if you need those or ink refills, don't hesitate. Now's a good time to get those. And I'm using 2 of those today. I'm using Lovely Lipstick as well. Okay, so I'm using Versamark ink, which is a clear watermark ink, but it's also used for heat embossing, okay? Hey, Misty. Good to see ya. Okay, so I'm going to just take this embossing buddy, and that kind of removes the static from your cardstock and helps to keep the embossing powder from sticking everywhere, okay? So, hey, Kathy. All right, so now I'm going to take this and ink it up again. It says Thinking of You. I can feel that all over my surface. I'm going to give myself enough room there and stamp. And you can barely see it, but it's there. It's like stamping tone on tone, okay? It just makes the cardstock a little darker. I have my Whisper White Stampin' Emboss powder in this little container. It's just easier for me. And I'm gonna take this plastic spoon and sprinkle the embossing powder over where I stamped. Now let me flick that extra off. And that's okay. I see a little few flecks there, but for the most part, you know, the embossing powder is not sticking all over. So, okay, I'm looking and the focus today seems to be better. Do you agree? I know, Mary Ellen, you were here yesterday. A big Whisper White pad and a few other things. Girl, you need to give me a call or text me, message me. All right, so I have our heat tool here. I'm gonna put it on the highest setting and let it heat up, all right? And then I'm going to pass it over the cardstock. And you can tell that the embossing powder is melted because it gets kind of darker and a little shiny. See that? It just pops off of that blueberry bushel. Okay, I think that's good. So I'm gonna set that aside and let it dry a little bit. It's pretty dry to the touch now, but I'm going to fussy cut this sentiment out. That means cut around it with the scissors. And so I'm gonna let it set and be sure I don't smear it, okay? And I'm gonna put it right in front of me so I don't lose it. Y'all know me, stuff all over my desk. All right, so next, since I'm going to be watercoloring, I'm going to stamp my image in Jet Black Stays On. And I am stamping it on a scalloped stitched rectangle that I die cut from our watercolor paper. And this seems kind of crooked. There we go. And it's from the Stitched So Sweetly dies that go with the So Sentimental. It's in the So Sentimental bundle from the mini catalog. And I use the largest scalloped rectangle. And so I've already cut that out of our watercolor paper. And I'm going to take my image here and I'm going to ink it up and stamp it. Now, I have another one cut extra just in case. And, you know, just in case I messed up. I'm gonna ink this up really well. So, and then I'm gonna just center it over this. And I'm gonna use another stamp too, over here to the left. A little flower, and my sentiment's going to go up there in the upper left. So I'm going to position my stamp a little bit more to the right than to the left, okay? So there we go, and I'm going to give it a good press. Okay. Here we go. All right. So this, I need to clean with Stays On Cleaner. So it's really oily, okay? So I've always cleaned the stamp with this cleaner first. And then I take a towel and I rub that off. Because it's a permanent ink, the Stays On. You can stamp on non-porous surfaces with it, okay? Glass. Coasters, if you're making coasters out of tiles, you can stamp with that. Okay, so that cleans it pretty well. And then after a while, I will clean it more with my Stampin' Scrub, okay? All right, so now, that's a pretty image, isn't it? All right, I'm gonna get this little floral image here and find a little block that I can use. I ordered me a new set of my clear blocks, but I don't want to use them and get them all dirty. That's not the craziest thing you've heard, because I am like so hard on my blocks. And I just haven't used them yet. I will though, I promise. Okay, I'm going to put this over here by the little girl stamp. Okay, I like it. Okay, so now I'm going to clean this one too. And you need to go ahead and clean your, when you use StazOn, because it can stain your stamps, because it, like I said, it's a permanent ink. And that, see, just takes it right off. And I'll do some more cleaning later. So now, I don't know that it's still in there, Mary Ellen. I'll have to look and see. It should be. We sell the StazOn, right? I'll have to look. All right, so let's get started. I have a lot of colors I'm using today. Highland Heather, Pool Party, Blueberry Bushel, Mango Melody, and that reminds me I forgot another stamp, Lovely Lipstick, Petal Pink, and I did use Pear Pizzazz for the grass on the other one, but since it's St. Patrick's Day, I have to use Call Me Clover, Crumb Cake, and Soft Suede. So, while I'm thinking about it, let me get the other stamp here that I want to use. And it's these two butterflies, tiny butterflies. So, let's see if I can do them together. These are itty bitty. Okay, I'm gonna do like this. No, I'm gonna do them separate. Make up your mind, Lisa. Okay. See, this is like, I don't have my sample in front of me, so I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. Okay, so butterfly, queen, and the other butterfly. That's not a great stamp. I mean, I didn't get all of it inked up evenly or pressed evenly, but it'll work. So, hey Mary Cantwell, how are you doing? All right, let me see who else is. Yay, Catherine, glad to see you. Glad your internet is up again. Okay, so now I think I have everything. So let's start. I'm going to color or watercolor the older girl or the mother's dress in Lovely Lipstick. And I have my big block here. Okay, this is like for background stamps, clean mount. But I like to use it when I'm watercoloring because I don't have to have a lot of different blocks out. It's good to just take this and make your ink palette. And so I'm just going to tap that right there like that. And I'll leave it open for now. And I have my aqua painter. And if you're not familiar with this, this is a watercolor brush that opens and you fill it with water, plain water. Or you can use it without the water in the well and have a little cup of water here that you dip into and color. This is kind of my favorite way to do it. So you see it picking up the color there off the block. And I'm going to do her dress. This is so relaxing. I feel like I should have music playing in the background, but it's super quiet in here. Okay, my heater's not even on. That's how I know it's a lot warmer. Okay, I received my March paper pumpkin today and I'm so excited. You know, the kits like that, that's perfect for right now when we're kind of confined, and you know, it's easy to put together because everything is right there that you need. So I'm looking forward to sitting and doing that. And it's the anniversary edition. So it has an extra stamp set in it. It's really cute. Really cute. Okay, so you see, I'm just so easy to watercolor. And this watercolor paper is great. Now I'm going to pick up a little bit more color here. And actually, my brush has a little bit more water on it than I want it to. So I'm going to brush some of that off and pick up some more in, because I want it a little darker in some areas here. And it lightens as you dry, and sometimes after it's dried, you want to come back and put more color, and that's great too. Okay, there's her dress. That's a pretty color, and I think I'm through with the lovely lipstick, so look, I'm just going to clean my block like that. And then you can squeeze your aqua painter and let the water run through the brush so that you can clean it and don't mix your colors. Thank you, Diana. Yeah, I figured that they had the cleaner if we had the stays on, but you know, things like that are really hard to miss, okay? Because they don't stand out. It's not real colorful. And all right, I'm gonna put the lovely lipstick up, and then I'm just gonna use what's next on top, which is my Mango Melody, and I'm gonna use that for the little butterflies. So I don't need that much ink, but it's fun to tap it on there. All right, so I'm gonna pick up a little bit here, and I'm gonna watercolor my butterflies. Okay, that was easy. Didn't need all that, did I? That's okay. All right, so now I'm gonna clean my brush. You're crafting for Easter, huh? Thank you, Mary. I'm glad you're watching. Okay, so now I have Blueberry Bushel on top, so I'm going to use that, and that's for the little girl's dress. And I'm not sure I colored her bow in the other one, but I'm going to do it on this one. And this one you can see I put some re-inker in there, but I think my re-inkers are in Texas. Okay. I'm going to close that so I don't make a mess. Okay, let me just pull this up here and do her dress. That's more like I like it. You see how dark that is? And then you just kind of start blending in. I didn't even squeeze the water, okay? I'm just kind of spreading that ink around and leaving those dark areas. Yeah, I like how this just turning out. Okay, that's such a pretty blue. Oh, I hate that we're losing it. I say we're losing it. It's because it's, you know, been around for 2 years. In color cycle in and out. We have them for 2 years, a set of 5. And then we'll get a new set in June, new set of colors. Okay, there's her dress. Let me get her bow. Try this without, and hoping I don't blend it into her hair, but I'm just gonna barely dab it. Okay, good enough. Diana, you definitely need to try the watercoloring. Get some of our watercolor paper and an aqua painter. You've got your ink pads, and go to town. It is so much fun. Okay, all right. Let's see what I'm gonna do next. I don't want to do Pool Party next. I'll do Highland Heather. And that's for the flowers. The little sprig there. All right. Oh, I've got ink on my fingernail. Get that off. Okay, here we go. Clean my brush. Pick up some of the Highland Heather, and I'm going to do these. Okay. Alrighty. So now I'm going to do the grass and then the stems, which I'm a little nervous about doing the Call Me Clover because it's pretty bold. So before I venture off, it's old watercolor paper. I'm looking for a scrap piece of watercolor paper. And I have some of our old watercolor paper, and it's not near the quality of the new one. See, this is how the new one comes. It's called Fluid 100. I'm not going to cut a piece. I'm just going to use an edge of it to test out that Call Me Clover and see if I can get it light enough. Okay, thank you, Misty, for your vote of confidence. Okay, so let's try it. Better be careful where I dab that pad. I'll end up with ink all over my... Okay, let me just get this in here so you can see. I guess it'll be okay. It's kind of a blue-green. Y'all think that will be okay? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of it. And I can always... I think I can tone it down if I need to add. You think that's okay? I can tone it down if I need to add Old Olive or something and mix it. I think it's okay. It is a blue-green. It's definitely a blue-green, but it is pretty. What do you think? I'm going to go for it. Be brave. I'm just going to do it very lightly. I'm not adding too much color at all because I don't want it to overwhelm the rest of the picture, the image. Ooh. And the thing is, if you get it too dark in some area, you can get your brush with just water and spread it out. I think that's okay, don't you think? Come up a little bit here. It's very faint, but I like that. I mean, I don't want it to go, Okay, good. All right. Let's go with that then. Now I'm going to take the Petal Pink, which is a lovely color for skin. And you can make it lighter or darker by adding a little more pink or adding just a dab of crumb cake to it. Okay, so, oh goodness, Lisa, get this off of here. All right, let's dab this on, close that up. Thanks, Diana. Diana, how are you feeling today? Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, I'm going to dab it and then come over here and brush a little off because I don't want it too dark. And then when it dries, it's just right. You can also watercolor by putting drops of ink refills in the lid of your ink pad, or even taking ink refills and putting like a dab of a drop on your block or whatever surface, whatever you want to use for your palette, and you can do that. I just find this is a pretty easy way to do it. Okay, you see how that's... Okay. I'm talking softly like that's going to make me color more lightly. Okay. I really like this color for skin. Good, Diana. It's rest and drink plenty of fluids. Okay. Like it. Okay, so now I'm going to go to their faces. Just a little hint of her face showing. I like that because I sure wouldn't want to be have to dealing with eyes and all of that. Whew, this is great. Beautiful set. Okay. Oh, I like it. Okay, so now I need to try the other images in this set too. Okay, so now, did I get all of the skin? Look before I clean my palette here. And then the hair. I did the little girls in Crumb Cake and the moms, or the older girl, in Soft Suede. Crumb Cake. Way too much ink there, but it's okay. Coloring this hair makes me think of little Clara's hair that was here visiting last week, and her hair, it's like the new hair coming in is almost blonde. Her daddy was blonde when he was a baby. And my daughter Lindsay has like highlights in her hair. She always has. And the older sister Lila has highlights in her hair. It's just so pretty. I like that. Okay, let me, I'm not going to take this off in case I want to add some of that to the mom to tone it down a little bit. Anyway, you know how babies, they have hair. Well, she had hair when she was born, and then they start losing it, and then it starts growing back. Well, that's what's going on with Miss Clara. And she, it just looks light. I'm just anxious to see. And her eyes are still light too. I know it's still early, but who knows? May have a light-eyed grandbaby. My husband has blue eyes, and her daddy has hazel eyes or green eyes. It depends. They change. You know how some people's eyes color change. I love this watercoloring. I think I could do this. It's like I want to stamp a bunch of images and just go to town. Okay, there we go. Now, let me clean this off. And I'm going to do my pool party. The pool party is going to be the rest of the background. And I got to clean this up off really well because I don't want any of that brown bleeding into the pool party. So, take this and brush it and make sure it's clear. Okay. That's out of the way. And then I'm going to get my pool party. What's that, Misty, for one of my lives? See, I forget what I say. I'm just talking. Just do a bunch of images in watercolor. Is that what you're talking about? Okay, so now, this I want really like a wash, okay? Don't want it like pool party, bam, just like a wash. So, I'm rubbing it off a little bit there, and I kind of, ooh, see, I get where it's like too much. So you see how I dipped here, and then I'm coming over here and doing this because I just want it barely. And I just kind of do this back and forth motion and get close to the other image. To the main image. And oh, it's kind of dark there, but it's gonna be okay. And it's okay if it varies throughout. You know, in fact, it's almost prettier if it's not the same all over. You know what I mean? Get close to her head and her face. Okay, I'm getting close to these butterflies. And you know, we use the StazOn to stamp with watercoloring because It's alcohol-based ink or pigment-based, I forget. Let me see what it says. Solvent ink. So anytime you're going to add water, you need the StazOn. When you're using alcohol markers like our blends, then you would use Memento. If you use Memento on watercoloring, it would smear more times than not. You can be, I've done it and tried to be real careful before, and it works okay, but you definitely want to use the StazOn for watercoloring like this. I mean, the whole thing. See? Okay, let me get a little bit more blue. Oh, that's a little dark. Okay, let me get some water on it. Move it around. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay, and you can dry it, which I may do that before I put it on. So, I want to bring this all the way out to the edge of the, what you call it, scallops. I did it at the top, but I didn't go around, so I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. You see what I mean? It's kind of the light color of the watercolor paper, and I want it all the way to the edge. And it's just barely, but it's at the top. I went all the way to the edge of the scallop, so I want to do that all the way around. Okay. Yay. All right. Okay. So, let me move this out of the way. I'm going to let that dry on its own just a little bit. And I'm going to take that, remember that embossed image we use? I'm going to take my paper snips and I'm going to fussy cut it out. And I'm doing like rounded edges around the fonts and leaving a bit of the blueberry bushel around it. So I'm not cutting too close at all. And I'm trying not to have any, let me get this excess off. Come up. All right. And my main objective is to try to get it around the sentiment and try to keep the lines curved instead of sharp, which I didn't do too good of a job right here, so I'm going to try to curve it. That looks kind of funky. Okay. All right, there we go. So now I'm going to take my heat tool and I'm going to dry this a bit so I'm not working with it wet. Everything's going to stick better if your image is dry. Normally I would set it aside and finish the card later, but I want to finish it for you all. Okay. Draw the back and the front. Kind of flattens it out a little bit. Okay, that should be good. So now, I take this and I'm just going to glue that on. So, I don't see any questions. Y'all are kind of quiet today. Let's see. Okay. I'm just going to put it right up here on the upper left. Now we can finish our card. Okay, so I'm using a very vanilla card base, 5.5 by 8.5. I'm just going to fold and match the corners. And let's see. Like that. And then I have another piece of Blueberry Bushel, and this I did the dry embossing with this subtle embossing folder, and this has to be my favorite of all time. Well, I have a couple of favorites. I like this one, and what is the other one I have? This one, the script, because I think between these two, the scripty, excuse me, they can go with anything, okay? But I love the script background, but this one is the subtle. It just gives it a texture, and it's beautiful, okay? So this is 4 by 5.25 of Blueberry Bushel, and I'm just going to apply that with our liquid glue that I've just put in a smaller container with a fine tip. Okay, get that on there. Just, oh, I forgot to do something. Okay, so I'm gonna, normally I would have tied my ribbon or my fiber around this layer before I put it down, but I forgot all about it. So, where is it? Goodness, here it is. It's this lace trim, okay? So I'm gonna show you a little trick that I do when I make a mistake like this. I am going to, you know, I probably could pull it up, but it would make a kind of a mess. And I know I want, okay, this is going to go here in the center, and I want the ribbon to go underneath that and tie over here, okay? So it's going to go about right here. So I'm going to take my paper snips, I'm marking this little spot here. This is the fold of the card, okay? And I'm telling you, you just barely gonna just snip away that fold, that score mark. And I almost do too little before I do too much. You see how I made an opening right there? And then if you need it a little larger, which I think I do, snip it. Okay, so now you can always fix things somehow. I'm going to take this and slide it through there. Now, the only drawback of this is that the lace is going to be on the inside of your card. But that's kind of pretty, really. Okay, so I used to do this technique with ribbon all the time. Sometimes when I would mess up and not put it on the layer, and sometimes because that's the way I wanted it. Okay, especially like if this was a dark cardstock and you had that lighter color ribbon going through there, it's really pretty. Hey, Chris, how you doing, baby? All right, so I didn't cut this off and measure it, but I'm going to measure it now so I can tell you about how much you need. Okay, so that's about 14 or 15 inches of ribbon or lace, okay? So that would be good. Trim that off, and then I'm going to tie it right here in a knot. Hey, Pam. Hey, Jerry. Yeah, I could behind the inside layer. Yes, you're right. Yep, you're right. There are all kinds of ways to do it. This is just you know, that's a quick way and easy. Okay, so there's that. And here we go. Trimmed it a little bit. And then this is going to go over top like that. And I think I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals for this one. And be good, pretty good with the coverage. And if I was not using dimensionals for the watercolor paper is kind of heavy and you want it to really lay, if you're not wanting it to pop up, you're wanting it to stick to that front, then I would use tear and tape. Or you could use liquid glue, you just have to hold it a minute. Okay, yeah, so pretty generous with my dimensionals. Jerry, I'm glad you found us. You know, I can't tell you, I'm planning to go live every day this week, but I can't tell you when because it all depends on what's going on. And we usually eat our biggest meal at lunchtime, and so that's when I cook. And then for supper, we just have something light, and he usually fixes his own. So I can stay out here. I'm not rushed, you know, to go inside and cook because I don't like to be in the kitchen late cleaning. Okay, there you go. There's today's card. Hey, Latricia. Yeah, okay, I'm going to try to flip you back around so I can tell you. Let's see. Thank you, Catherine, for the hearts. Okay, let me flip you around. Okay, yay. Okay, we got a card ready, and I did thinking of you because I think this time right now, hey, you know, I think that's what we need. I think this is a great time to be a card maker because anytime's great to be a card maker, but, what was I going to say? This time when you're kind of isolated, or you know those that are isolated, you know, how awesome would that be to send a card? Okay, so I'm hoping you can do that. If you don't want to go to the post office, you can order your stamps online. I've done that before. So anyway, glad you all tuned in today. Thank you so much for watching. Watercoloring is fun to do. It's easy. Inks, aqua painter, watercolor paper stays on. Stamp your image and go to town. And we have lots of fun images that you can color, and beautiful ones like this, scenes, all kinds of things. So if I can help you with anything, let me know. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you all again tomorrow, okay? Thank you for sharing if you did. If you do share, be sure you put below the video. Have a great evening. Talk to you again soon. Bye.